This is the story of a boy who was once the brightest star of his class, intelligent, loved by everyone, and full of potential. But a hidden addiction slowly pulled him into darkness. It wasn't drugs or alcohol. It was something far more common, yet equally destructive: porn addiction. This one habit began to shake his studies, his health, and even his happiness. So let's begin the story of how his life fell apart and how he fought to rise again. There was once a boy who seemed to have everything going for him. He was the kind of student teachers loved to praise and classmates looked up to. Brilliant in his studies, always topping the class, polite in behavior, respectful to elders, and the heart of his society. He was adored by everyone. People would often say, "This boy will go far in life." But sometimes, the most promising lives are derailed not by tragedy, but by something small and hidden. His story was not about failure in school or a terrible accident. It was about an invisible chain that wrapped itself around his mind and heart, pulling him deeper into a dark hole. That chain was porn addiction. At first, it seemed harmless. Just a moment of curiosity. A random link clicked. A picture, a video, a few minutes of pleasure. He convinced himself it was normal. Everyone does it. It's no big deal, he thought. But what he didn't realize was that this small secret would grow into a storm that would consume him. In the beginning, he managed to hide it. Nobody knew. He still smiled, still topped the class, still looked like the perfect son. But slowly, the addiction tightened its grip. Late nights on his phone turned into sleepless mornings. His sharp focus in class began to blur. He couldn't concentrate. He would stare at pages in his books, but the words wouldn't stay in his mind. Instead, his thoughts wandered elsewhere, toward images that had hijacked his brain. Physically, his energy drained away. Dark circles formed under his eyes. His once athletic body grew weak. Emotionally, he became distant. The cheerful, talkative boy turned silent and withdrawn, lost in endless thoughts. And then came depression. At first, it was only waves of sadness, passing moods. But slowly, it became a permanent shadow. He overthought everything. He felt constant guilt and doubt. Why can't I stop? Why am I ruining my own life? The more he hated himself for his addiction, the deeper he sank into it. His parents saw the change. Their son, who once filled the house with laughter, now avoided them, stayed quiet at the dinner table, and locked himself in his room. They tried to help, encouraging him, suggesting therapy, even visiting doctors, but he refused to open up. How could he? The shame was too heavy. One night, lying on his bed, staring at the ceiling, he almost gave up. His mind whispered, "What's the point of living if I can't even control myself? I'm useless. I'm broken." That moment could have been the end of his story. But deep inside, a small voice pushed back. "You're not broken. You're just trapped, and you can fight your way out." That tiny spark became the turning point. The next day, he made a decision. If he wanted to reclaim his life, he couldn't wait for someone else to save him. He had to save himself. The first step was honesty. He admitted the truth to himself. "Yes, I have a problem. Yes, it's destroying my health, my studies, and my happiness. And yes, I need to stop." That acceptance was painful, but it was also liberating. Then he began to take action. He cut back on his late-night scrolling. He deleted certain apps, installed blockers, and kept his phone away at night. It was tough, but necessary. He added exercise to his life. At first, just small walks. Then jogging. Then workouts. Moving his body released natural energy that replaced the fake rush he once chased online. He discovered mindfulness. Breathing deeply, meditating, writing down his feelings in a journal. These practices gave him control over his restless mind. When urges came, instead of drowning in guilt, he let the thoughts pass like clouds drifting across the sky. He filled his free time with positive hobbies. Reading, writing, learning new skills, even playing sports again. These activities gave him joy that was real, not temporary. Finally, he found the courage to talk to a therapist. Opening up about his secret was terrifying, but once he did, he felt lighter. With professional help, he learned about the science of addiction, how the brain rewires itself, and how to build resilience. And slowly, he opened up to people he trusted. A close friend first, then his parents. To his surprise, they didn't judge him. Instead, they stood by him. For the first time, he realized, "I don't have to fight this alone." With time, he returned to his studies. He set small, realistic goals: 1 hour of focus, then 2, then an entire day. Every small success rebuilt his confidence. His grades improved, his teachers noticed his spark returning, and his parents felt hope again. The journey was not perfect. There were nights of weakness, moments of relapse, days of despair. But each time he fell, he told himself, falling down is not failure. Staying down is. And with that, he stood up again, stronger than before. Months passed. The boy who once lived under the shadow of addiction was walking with confidence again. His laughter returned. His dreams returned. His future looked bright once more. He wasn't just the same boy he used to be. He was stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. He had learned self-discipline, resilience, and the value of asking for help. He had turned his darkest battle into his greatest strength. This story is not about one boy. It's about millions of people silently fighting the same addiction. Porn may look harmless, but it destroys focus, weakens confidence, damages relationships, and steals joy. But his journey proves something powerful. No matter how deep the hole, you can climb out. It takes honesty. It takes discipline. It takes courage. But it is possible. So if you, or someone you know, is struggling, remember this. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are human. And with the right steps, you can rise again. Because life is too precious to waste in the shadows of addiction. And your story, just like his, can become a story of strength, hope, and victory.